various very strong positions on the disinvestment front, which we take with great honor and support you've sought from the industry. May I request the President, Mr. Amin, to invite questions and proceed from there. Mr. Amin, President.
One thing if I will mention is on mobile phones. 90% of them are still smuggled. There is no local industry. Safety should have been taken on. I wrote this earlier also. I personally feel time has come for people to buy phones from the right channel, warranty and guarantee, and I think they deserve that. It came as a very unexpected feel-good factor for all of us. I think you have announced the drug policy coming in, and we hope that they come very soon, because the other ministry which is handling that. So I think the industry would be looking forward, and that's very important. You have also extended the scope of research. There are a couple of suggestions I would like to make, which we have made to you, and I think it can be addressed. One is in R&D, the royalty payment and the technology payment, I think need to be treated as a tax exemption, and I think that will spur the R&D activities in this country. The second one is, I think in the last budget you had announced special funding of 150 crores for R&D. This is a fully R&D company have been exempted from income tax for 10 years. I think this should also be extended to pharmaceutical company with the main clause of R&D along with the other activities. And the money spent in R&D and the activities coming out.
आपने दिल से दिया और we will not let you down. हम लोग सब आपके साथ साथ हैं. Today we have a not only a feel good but a feel very good factor. But so one micro question that is on the IT industry. I think your intentions are quite clear that when a company goes public, he will still have a tax shield. But when a venture capitalist normally puts in money, he doesn't get out, and the company loses its 51% status much before the company gets publicly listed.
Mr. Amin mentioned that the 50% of FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, goes to the rural market. There is one category, sir, which seems to have been left out and been stepmotherly treated, which is the toiletry category. Things like talcum powder, skin creams, and shampoos, which dermatologists themselves say is good for health and hygiene. And also, sir, even in the past, when the rates were reduced, the consumption has gone up, and also revenue collection has gone up. There's a solid proof there. This is one category which has got the special excise duty, continues at 16%. I think going to one rate of SENVAT is great, but one category, toiletries, sir, has been just missed out, and I would really appreciate that if you can be on toiletries. Thank you.
I would like to go to Mr. Navin Jindal, representing STAIL.
So, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on an excellent budget. But I would like to also say there's certain anomalies which still remain. One is the anti-dumping duty on met coke. So, when pig iron producers import met coke from China, they were exempted from this anti-dumping duty. They were using a blast. Just like similarly in the case of independent textile processors, you have brought them into ad valorem duty structure from compounded. We request you to kindly do the same for stainless steel patapati also. And so thirdly, so steel is still, like when we got independence, we were making more steel than China. And today, 50 years later, China produces 100. So steel is still very expensive for a common man to build his house. So I would request you the way you have exempted steel from excise in Gujarat and Orissa. Sir, Orissa happened last year, Gujarat with their houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jindal. Mr. Onkar Kanwar, Apple Chairman, Apollo Tires.
So first of all, I must compliment on a wonderful budget, excise duties. Whereas for the tires still with 16 plus 10 or 15 years ago, normally the ministry. So far, nothing has been done. So what is happening is the finished product is coming at lesser price and raw materials are coming at more expensive price. So the heavy industry, there also you have given a 50% depreciation. Suggestion is perhaps you may like to consider that especially the heavy automobile, which is really driving the nation, if there the depreciation can be almost 100%, and vehicles which are on the road more than 15 years, if they can be scrapped and be given 100% kind of depreciation and some interest can be reduced for the user, it will really give a great fillip to the economy. So these are some suggestions which for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to first of all congratulate you for this landmark budget you announced yesterday. From the women's perspective, I'd like to say that as you know, this year, the calendar year 2001, has been observed as the women empowerment year. But nothing is there, no incentive is there in the budget for women entrepreneurs, especially first generation. Perhaps provisions could be made for their gross income for women, especially for women having, women assessees having 2 children, up to 2 children. Thank you.
One more, maybe Mr. Sulin Alag, and then FM would like to reply.
Spread the message of the budget, and I don't know how I will be able to explain to Mrs. Sinha that her biscuit is going to cost more tomorrow morning. But what we want to say, sir, from the biscuit industry is that if you look at even in a situation like the Gujarat earthquake, the first product that every organization or company, lower income group, and you took a certain sector of the biscuit industry and put it at 8% and took the upper end at 16. So there was a division in the biscuit industry for products at 5 rupees and below and 100 grams and below, which was to be used, which we have actually.
We have the sandbag of 16%, and we have the ACD of another 16%. The rate of 8% is just not there. There is something which I have been trying to explain. What happened was that when we were rationalizing, there were some items which were at for all the inputs, then everyone is paying at the same rate of 16%. If you would ask me today, how do I look at the future of excise reforms in this country, I would say there are 2 issues which are there. One is the issue of exemptions, where I have put some at 4% this year, and I have clearly said that we will, in 4 equal stages, take them to 16. And I have said that we want putting more items on this escalator every year, so that once you are on the escalator, you just go up. There is no, you don't go down from there. So therefore, I would like you to please remember that there is no 8%. And therefore, to ask me to take anything to 8% is not fair. The only items, there are only 4 items which are left at 8%. And that is kerosene, LPG, cotton yarn, and diesel generate pumping sets with up to 10 horsepower, which is used in agriculture. And I have said that I am leaving them out in the larger public interest for the present, only for the present. And I hope to take them to 16% in future. So there will be no rate of 18%. I know, even when we were saying that some of the items will go to 4%, I was telling as if rich people work with their hands. It's always poor people who make it. So there should be tax exemption because poor people make it. There should be tax exemption because poor people consume it. And there should be tax exemption if these 2 do not apply, because it's made in a poor area. entirely value-added tax base. And this is the mission which I have taken up with the states also, so that we bring sales tax also within this ambit. And we really have one value-added tax which will be from the manufacturing estate up to the retail estate. That really will be the best tax system that this country can look forward to. There are some specific issues which have been raised, and I was discussing this with Mr. Amin, and we both agreed that perhaps even at this stage, where some have been attended, some have not been attended, if you would give a small note justifying what you say, it will be helpful, like why should mobile phones not have CBD? I entirely agree with Suman that the food processing industry, where we are just making a beginning, needs far more attention than perhaps has been given in this budget. And I am entirely with him on this concept of lab to land. Task force, constituting a task force is a good suggestion. We will certainly look at it. On cement, I am happy that the cement industry has taken the duty reduction in its stride. And I am very pleased at the confidence that they are demonstrating that they are able to meet the challenge of competition. It is not merely housing where we are going to use more and more cement. It's also in the construction of roads of all kinds, state roads, national highways, where more and more cement will be used. I am myself very concerned at the low growth in the cement industry, and I hope that the next year will be far better for this industry than the current year has been. As far as drug policy is concerned, when I talked about substantial reduction in the number of populations which are within the drug price control order, I was doing it on the basis of the discussions that I've had with my colleagues in that ministry, and I hope that will be happening very soon. There is 150 crore fund for the pharmaceutical industry that I promised last year after my budget. It is very much on our minds. We're working out modalities, and that should not be a problem. As far as the interest rate cut is concerned, I'd like to tell Mr. Sudhir Jalan that I am a great believer in the autonomy of the central bank. And I have always said that while it is my responsibility to set the fiscal parameters, the rest must be left to the government. And I'd like to say that it is not merely the rate cut on the small savings and retail. It is also the fact, very importantly, that I have been able to control the fiscal deficit. Both these are indicators of fiscal management. And I hope the governor and his board will look at the issue in its entirety and take steps whenever they feel such a step is warranted. On steel, we have removed some anomalies. There may be some more anomalies. I agree with you that we are lag behind. We have to increase the consumption of steel in the country. We have to export more so that our steel industry becomes more competitive and achieves the fullest production of the installed capacity, and we are able to add more capacity. There is this issue of Pattapatti, about which I became aware acutely in my 98, after my 98 budget. Very few people perhaps would be aware that Pattapatti is an extremely complicated issue. Let me see what can be done. To Onkar Kamar, I would say, if the automobile industry picks up, then tires naturally will also do well. One of the reasons why the tire industry was not doing so well this year was because the automobile industry was not doing well. You certainly provide the wheels and the tires to the wheels. But then somebody has to put the superstructure on the wheel because the wheel does not move by itself. You need somebody to drive it. There are some anomalies that you have pointed out. We certainly like to look at that. To Ms. Shah, I'd like to say that I am very aware that it is the year of women's empowerment. I have talked about it in my budget. I have referred to certain programs that the government has. But I also feel that in this year of women's empowerment, women should be able to assert equality and parity and not ask for concessions, which are a special case. We should be able to create circumstances which will promote entrepreneurship and more entrepreneurship amongst women. But I was reading a comment in one of the newspapers today that tax concession is not always perhaps the best way of doing it. And the author was trying to prove the point by saying that if tax concession really was to be treated as a panacea, then we would have been a developed country by now, given all the tax concessions that we have enjoyed in the last 50 years. But if there is anything else that I can do for women entrepreneurs, please let me know about it. I know that by way of training a great deal, I know personally that entrepreneurship is developing in the rural area amongst women, and that I regard as a very happy sign. I have said that even in my own constituency, I go out and meet people. There are women who are coming up and demanding more participation in the development process, which is a very good sign. And I'm sure you will promote this. Let me end by saying that in every package, as I said in the beginning, there will be some losers, there will be some gainers. This package is no exception. But I would like to end by saying that if the economy prospers, then we all prosper. I have often said that we must have more to distribute if we want to ensure distributive justice. We will not ensure distributive justice by distributing yearly poverty, want, and scarcity. So production and productivity is the challenge for all of us, and I'm sure I have your fullest cooperation.
Busy with the parliament. So, well, anyway, if you have any points, give us a note, and as you agreed, we will push it across to the finance ministry. And we have an instruction where senior officers from finance ministry will be here. So maybe we can raise it.
Told me that, look, you don't expect this to last for more than 6 months. And I said, I told you recently, and I have accepted the challenge, aided by the finance secretary who also was there, and he said, look, we're not going to run away, we're going to be here even 6 months from now, and we'll come to you. So in keeping of this tempo, I think when you said road allocation of more than 8,000 crores, when the last time I was in China, they built an entire 6-lane, 7-mile highway from the airport to downtown. I mean, come back with this impression, I'm sure they also will not be left behind. They're all being there as national as we are. I'm sure it will have a big impact. So, here,
Mr. Sinha, what is your first reaction after meeting Indian industry?
How do you feel the reaction like Congress party about your of the same?
रहने दो थोड़ा सा रास्ता रहने दो